lesson 2 is finding the area of a circle. Now remember, circumference, you did C equals pi times diameter, or C equals 2 times the radius times pi, and that found you the circumference. Today we're going to use the radius still, but our formula this time is A equals pi times radius squared. And in case you can't see that, that little 2 is the squared. What that means, when you take something and square it, you're taking it and multiplying it by itself. Like 2 squared equals 2 times 2. 3 squared equals 3 times 3. 10 squared equals 10 times 10. Okay? So you're just taking it and multiplying it by itself. So this is your formula. A equals pi. Remember, pi is 3.14 times radius times radius. So when you go to look here, notice we have our radius is 2 inches. So write out your formula just like normal. A equals pi is 3.14 times the radius 2 squared, and I would actually take it and instead of writing 2 squared, write out 2 times 2. And then you would put it in your calculator, or you know 2 times 2 is 4. So pi times 4, find your answer. Same thing, even if they give it to you in word form, you would write out your formula. A equals pi r squared, or to the second power, you could say it that way. And I'm going to work this one out here so you can see it. Pi is 3.14. I'm going to move this down a little bit. There we go. Times the radius is 14, so times 14 times 14. When you type that in, 3.14 times 14, you get your number about 616. Or if you want to round to the nearest tenth, area equals 615.4. Now, notice their labels. Area is always squared. So it's going to be centimeters squared. And you can write either square inches, inches squared, or you could have put inches with the little 2. That's the way I tend to write it, centimeters squared. Okay? So go ahead and pause real quick and try your got it problem. Okay, notice I jumped. If you haven't paused it yet, actually pause the video and try out this problem. Once you are done with it, unpause it and you can check your work. So here's the work for this. Find the area of the circle with a radius of 3.2 centimeters. So area equals pi times radius squared. Pi is 3.14. The radius was 3.2, so I wrote that out twice. When you type that in, this is your answer. Notice I rounded. It says round to the nearest tenth, so 1 decimal place. So we look at the number behind it, a 5. Since it's 5, we're going to round that 1 up to a 2. It'd be 32.2 centimeters squared. Now, the next one says, find the area of the face of the Virginia quarter with the diameter of 24 millimeters. Now, this one's a little bit different because, remember, our formula has radius in it, but this is diameter. Hopefully you were paying attention during section 1. If your diameter is 24, the radius is always half of that, because remember, diameter is all the way across, radius is only halfway. So the radius is half, so that's where they got their 12. Then you continue on as normal. Pi is 3.14 times 12 times 12. When you type it in, it'll give you the approximate answer. Remember, it's always the approximate because pi is an approximate, that 3.14. Pi is actually a long number that continues on forever and never stops. So again, go ahead and pause this real quick. Once you have the problem for Got It B completed, unpause the video and check your work. Here you can see the answer that you should have gotten. A equals pi r squared. So when we look at this, it says the bottom of a circular pool with a diameter of 30 feet is painted blue. How many square feet are blue? So if we know the diameter is 30, half of that would be the radius. So half of 30 is 15. So that's our radius that you will plug into your formula. Pi is 3.14. 15 squared means 15 times 15. When you type that into your calculator, you get 706.5, and it would be feet squared. Now, the next part is the exact same type of problem, but we're talking about semicircles. And since a semicircle is half of a circle, there's a couple ways you can do this. Notice the only thing different in the formula is the 1/2 there. So you can find the area and multiply it by 0.5, or find the area and then divide it by 2. Either way, it means the exact same thing. I like to find the area and then divide it by 2, but you might like to multiply it by 1/2. Now, the only thing is if you divide it by 2, you have to make sure to find the area first, then do this. I'll explain that in a second. So here's your formula. So again, if you want to just find the area first, if the diameter is 16, the radius is 8. So it'd be 3.14 times 8 times 8. 3.14 times 8 times 8 is 200.96. Notice I hit enter and actually found the entire area. Then cut that entire area in half. And it's 100.48. So it's approximately 100.5 square inches, or inches squared. One last time, go ahead and pause the video. Once you have the problem done, unpause it, and you can check your work with mine. Alright, so on letter C, it says find the approximate area of a semicircle with a radius of 6 centimeters. So again, find your area, pi times radius times radius. So pi is 3.14. It told us the radius is 6. We didn't have to cut it in half at all because it gave us the radius. Up here we had to cut it in half because it gave us the diameter. So really pay attention to what they're giving you. So times 6 times 6. Notice I found my answer and even wrote it out, then divided by 2. So find your area first, then cut it in half, so you're only talking about half of the circle. And you would have your answer 56.52 centimeters squared. The very last example is just a story problem. On a basketball court, there is a semicircle above the free throw line that has a radius of 6 feet. Find the area of the semicircle. So again, find your area first. Notice it gave you a radius. So 3.14, because remember area equals pi r squared. So 3.14 times 6 times 6. Find that answer. $113.04, then divide by 2. And notice this is the exact same problem as the previous one. It's just in a story problem form. So you should be getting the exact same answer. Okay? If you have questions, make sure to email me. You can always try 1, 3, and 4 for extra help, and we can check those tomorrow right away when you get into the class.